All right, so our topic today, can relationships survive cultural differences? Um, as a relationship coach, I've encountered this a lot, like in my coaching, in my own life, and then also, in the lives of my clients. So first, I'm gonna, there's so many different facets that you can talk about with multicultural relationships. So first, I'm gonna talk about the benefits of multicultural relationships, and then I'll also talk about the challenges of multicultural relationships, and then like what we can do, to help navigate through those challenges and those differences. Okay, so the benefits of multicultural relationships. So, being exposed to new countries, cultures, and beliefs, this is a huge benefit. You get exposed to different languages as well, different values and priorities, and your whole world opens up, right? Your whole world opens up in new ways. You get exposed to different ways of seeing the world, different ways of seeing everything, really. so so to add on to the benefits, so you can learn a new language, or else you can learn, new slang of a language that you already speak. Like even English, like, the way that, the words that Americans use and the words that the English use, are very different. Like every country has its own dialects and slangs and all of that. So you can learn, a new language, or else you can learn like a new slang, of a language that you already speak. Then you get to celebrate lots of holidays as well, because you get to celebrate the holidays, in your own country, and then you get to celebrate the holidays of your partner's country as well. So you kind of get like double holidays. And then you get the feeling of having two or more homes, because you have your home country, and then you have your partner's home country. And then and then you can also live like in a third country, which isn't like either one of your home countries, right? So yeah, so you end up, having two or three or more homes. And then you feel connected to your own home country, and then you also feel connected to your partner's home country as well. So again, like you get an expanded worldview, right? Your world opens up in so many different ways, and you can compare how different world events from history were taught or viewed differently in your two countries. Like an example being the American Revolution and Independence of 1776. It's taught very differently in the US and in the UK. And I have experience of this myself, because I went to international American schools in Venezuela. So I know how the American, how the American system, teaches this. And then, I've heard that in the UK, they really don't make a big deal out of it, right? So that's just one example of differences. So it's a great reality check that the world doesn't revolve around your particular country, whichever country you're from, and that the fears, hopes, history, and focus of other cultures and countries may vary significantly from your own. Like this is a really important, part, because many times, when we're from one country, or one culture, it's like we just think about the world and things like from that perspective. But it's very refreshing when you meet somebody, when you have a partner from another country, and you get like a different worldview, from that country. And then you can have lots of debates together as well, so that always adds like an interesting aspect, to a relationship. One huge thing is that you get to travel together. Like you get to travel together like so much. And that's one of the best things about being in a multicultural relationship. So like whether it's long distance or like a cross cultural relationship, you'll probably travel to many places. You can show each other like your home countries. And then of course, like when you travel to a country and you're with a local person, you get to see, things that like the typical tourist wouldn't see. So you literally have like the best, tour guide ever. when you travel with your partner. And then again, traveling together, we all know that when you travel together, things don't always go as planned and you can have challenges. There can be days that you're really tired and it's raining outside. And, when you go through like difficult and challenging moments together, that's a great opportunity to find out what you're made of as a couple, like when you go through, difficulties together. And, Mark Twain said, there ain't no surer way to find out whether you like people or hate them than to travel with them. And it's actually like a really big test of a relationship. Like if you can travel well together, like that's a really, yeah, it's a big test for a relationship. So a cross-cultural relationship can be a truly great adventure, like in many ways. And then you can have better communication skills. Because you have differences in languages and culture, you quickly learn how to communicate more effectively to hear each other out and understand what the other is saying. Unlike a normal couple who grew up in the same culture and might assume they're on the same page when they're not, you've already practiced the skills it takes to be an empathetic and supportive partner by learning about and appreciating the other culture's viewpoints and never assuming you're seeing eye to eye without checking first. So this is a good point. Like it's always good to check if you truly understand, like what your partner means. So this is a huge bonus when it comes to arguments or heated discussions. As much as we would all like to wish they don't happen, but they do. You've learned that you're wrong gets you nowhere, and help me understand where you're coming from is a much better solution. So this opens up, the communication, and communication in any relationship is super important, but especially in multicultural, relationships, communication is really, really important. And specifically to make sure that you understand what exactly your partner, is saying. So you get exposed to new shows, music, and celebrities as well. When you date somebody from another country or culture, it opens up, a whole range of music shows and celebrities that you never knew existed before. You also get exposed to new food. Like this is a really big one. It's like a whole new world of flavor. So the saying goes that the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. But it's also true that the key to a successful cross-cultural relationship is all in the stomach. So the benefit of having your partner share their country's best culinary classics with you is a huge plus. Like this, even like when you travel, you get exposed to, so many like new foods. And when you have a partner from a different country, from a different culture, it's the same thing. It's great when you get to share, different food from different countries with each other. And you get to share like the stories behind the food and all of that as well. So you have deep appreciation for one another, like on a different level. And like if your cross-cultural relationship happens to be long distance, which many times it is, and even now, like in Corona times, even if we're in the same city, like it has to be long distance because we can't see each other now. So this is very relevant now. There are so many amazing things you'll get to experience, like, okay, writing and receiving letters. I mean, that's very, old fashioned, but if you want to surprise your partner, because of course these days everything is digital, right? Everything is digital. So like if you want to surprise your partner, like write them like a handwritten letter or like a handwritten card. Like that is like, it's so special, especially because nobody does it these days. So it's so wonderful to find a letter, or a surprise waiting in your mailbox. I mean, you can send letters, you can send flowers. I mean, there's so many things you can do. You can send chocolates. There's so many fun and creative ways to date and stay close while apart that you'd never have experienced otherwise. And yeah, long distance relationships these days, it's like, yeah, even if your partner is in a different country, or if they're in the same city, like you could be having like a long distance relationship now because of the corona situation. So think about different things that you can do, to stay close and surprise each other, even in these times. So if you have children, like you can have multicultural children, and they can look universal and they can easily adapt to any culture. They can make friends with everybody, and they have adaptability and flexibility to other cultures, and they respect both diverse cultures and an integration into many others. And they're like global citizens, like all of us here in internations are global citizens. So yeah, so having multicultural children, it's like you're creating little global citizens. And then you introduce diversity to your family and your friends also. So in an intercultural relationship, your mind is continually open to different ways of life. One of the unforeseen side effects of this is that it positively affects your friends, family, and community. We introduce our friends to our respective cultures by sharing our travel experiences, inviting them to festivals, and making them try new dishes. Then another important thing is that we break a lot of stereotypes, like breaking stereotypes, I think is really important, because there can be so many different kinds of stereotypes, that different, cultures have about, different countries and different cultures, So like when you can actually tell people, listen, I'm with this person, and this stereotype is not true at all. It really opens up people's minds, and you can help do that, with an intercultural relationship. And then of course you have the challenges in intercultural relationships as well. Religions can be a big challenge, and having different religions can be challenging, and is one area where you will need to talk openly and really honestly about things and compromise on traditions and holidays. So like for example, celebrating both Christmas and Hanukkah, and I know that religion can be like a really really like difficult aspect, of intercultural, relationships. And I think that it's one thing that you need to have like really like honest conversations, about religions, because one partner can be very religious, and the other one is not. And the most important thing to do, about the different religions is to find ways to compromise, find middle ground, whatever that is. I mean, every relationship is different, the religions are different. So there's no set formula on how to do it, but I mean the best way to do it is to talk about it, is to have like honest communication about it, and find ways to compromise, whether it's compromising on holidays, or if you have children together, how you're going to raise the children, right? Because if there's two different religions, you have to come to an agreement on how you're going to raise the children. You can choose to raise them in one religion, or you can choose to raise them in two religions, whatever you decide. But yeah, religion, like different religions can definitely be challenging, but there are ways around it. There are, happy relationships and happy marriages with people from different religions, and they find ways, to work around, the differences. Languages. This is another challenge. So, speaking a language that is not your mother tongue can have its challenges, leading to misunderstandings, because, like, let's say, you both, you're communicating in a language that is not like a mother tongue to either one of you. There can be a lot of misunderstandings in that kind of situation, or if one partner speaks the language better than the other one, there can definitely be a lot of misunderstandings. So again, like the key is communication. When you don't understand something, say that you don't understand it. Like if your partner says something and you take it one way, ask them about it. And especially especially like if your partner is, joking around about something. Like sense of humor is something that can be very different in different countries and cultures. So what's funny to your partner might be insulting to you. So always, always clarify what it is, that they mean, before you take offense to something. And then another challenge, which is also about languages, is that it can be very challenging not being able to communicate with your partner's family in the same language. So in this case, it's a good idea to learn some basic words and phrases of your partner's language. Of course, ideally, it's great if you can learn your partner's language. But of course, that takes time. That takes time and effort. I mean, there are many people, that do it. But even if you don't learn the language, just to be able to communicate with the family, just learn some basic words and phrases, of that language. I mean, that really shows that you're making an effort. That really shows that you're making an effort, and that you have like a genuine interest in your partner and their country and their language. So another challenge is that you can feel homesick. So cross-cultural relationships or marriages sometimes involve one party relocating to the home country of their beloved. So if you make the move, you'll definitely feel homesick. So to counter this, keep in touch with relatives and friends, but also focus on putting down roots and building strong networks of friends in your new home. So that can definitely be a challenge, because many times in, multicultural relationships or long distance relationships, one person, moves to the country of the other one. So you can definitely feel homesick. So it's important to keep in touch, with family and your friends, but it's also important for you to, start meeting new people, in your new home, as well. And then another challenge is that you can be dealing with prejudice. So it can be challenging to deal with prejudices or stereotype mindsets from family members or friends or anybody really. Remember that you can't control what other people think. You can only, control, what you think and what you do. But the most important thing is for you to know how strong your relationship is, right? So dealing with prejudices can make a relationship stronger. So this, no matter what kind of relationship you have, even if you have, a relationship with somebody, from your same country and your same city, like everybody's always going to have an opinion about your relationship, always, you know. So there's no way that you can make everybody else happy, right? Like if you try to make everybody else happy, you're just going to, drive yourself crazy, right? So like the only thing that's important is, what you think of your relationship and what you have with your partner, right? It's not about, making other people happy or making choices, to make other people happy. It's about you, and people can have, all kinds of ideas about, what kind of partner you should have, if they think that you should have a partner, from the same country and the same race and the same religion and whatever it is, right? So I mean, a lot of people are very open-minded, and they're, very open, to all kinds of relationships, but everybody isn't, so like if you stumble across this, just remember that, it shows that what that person is made of, and it's not a reflection on you. It's a reflection on them and not a reflection on you. So, the most important thing is to know yourself and to know your partner, and to know, what kind of relationship you have. And yeah, many times when you go through, challenging situations, it makes a relationship stronger. So how to overcome challenges. So Understand, respect, and compromise, like those three words are really, really important to overcome challenges. So don't expect your partner to settle seamlessly into your way of life. Even if they're the foreigner and you're the native, you should see the relationship as a merging of cultures rather than that person adopting yours. Respect their differences. This is huge. Respecting each other's differences, is really, really big. Learn about them and look at where you might have to compromise to help them feel happy. Respecting the differences and compromising as well. Like in any relationship, you have to compromise, but especially in multicultural relationships, you have to compromise even at a higher level. Relationships should always be about finding a comfortable balance, and balance is key as well, because two people are coming together, from different countries, different cultures, different religions. It's really important for you to find the balance, right? And the only two people that can find that balance is the two of you, right? By talking openly and by having great communication about all things. um so yeah, so if one of you isn't making enough effort, then the cracks will start to form. So it's all about balance and compromising and finding the middle ground, with so many things, with so many differences. And then another way to overcome challenges is to get firsthand experience of each other's cultures. So that's, visit each other's home country, learn one another's language, even if they speak yours, and read up about their religion and cultural history. Like really like take an interest in their country and their history. And making the effort to get out there and experience life from their perspective shows that you care and that you want to know them better. Because it makes a huge difference, for you to take an interest in your partner's, country, and all the cultural beliefs and the traditions and all of that. Because if someone is with somebody from another country and they don't care at all, like the chances of that relationship working are very little. Like you have to be interested in the country that your partner is from. I mean, I'm not saying that you have to know like all the history of that country, but you do need to show interest. If you don't show any interest, that relationship will definitely, the chances are that relationship is not going to work long term. So pass on both cultures to your children. The issue of children can be a big one for cross-cultural couples. How do parents from different heritages instill a solid sense of identity in their child? Instead of seeing yours and your partner's separate cultures as two different identities, see your relationship as one. Teach your children about both cultures and explore with them the differences between the two, focusing on how they work together and the positives that can be drawn from both. Rearing your children to be bilingual is also a good idea, so as not to alienate one half of your couple. So yeah, like multicultural children, tend to speak, several languages, because if you have like, parents from different countries, then it's like, you have those languages. And then if you live in a different country, with a different language, then you can have children growing up speaking like two languages or three languages. Like in my case, I grew up speaking Finnish, English, and Spanish. So yeah, so there's lots of languages when you have multicultural children. So think positively about your differences. That's a really important key. Having a different perspective on life is a valuable thing, and you have so much to learn from one another. Like in any relationship, you learn so much from each other. I mean, I think that we have relationships, to learn so much. We learn about ourselves, we learn about our partner, we learn about relationships in general. And especially like in a multicultural relationship, you learn so much, like on a different level. See your differences as a good thing that enhances your relationships rather than a stumbling block. So it's all about how you see things. Like in anything in life, it's how you see things. So so yeah, so you can definitely learn a lot from each other. And use humor a lot. You know, couples that laugh together stay together. And anybody that knows me knows that I use humor a lot. I even gave like a laughter yoga session here in Internation. So so yeah, laugh together and have fun together. You know, the cure for so many relationship problems, you know, humor enables people to be frank and refreshing about potential problems. So by poking fun at your partner's bad English or their unusual dinner table etiquette, you can highlight your differences in a way that draws you together. Like, you know, laugh about the differences, you know? So as long as you can take a joke yourself, humor is a great tool for overcoming potentially awkward situations. So yeah, so use humor to solve problems. So yeah, use humor and have fun together. So get around some of your differences by poking fun at each other's cultural differences. So rather than criticize, laugh at how you pronounce certain words. So educate yourself about your partner's culture and try to adopt some of their practices. So yeah, use humor and have fun together and laugh together every day. You know, be silly together. You know, that's a great way to make relationships work. And dance together and teach each other different dances from different countries. You know, you can teach your partner how to dance salsa, merengue, or tango, for example. You know, like I dance salsa and merengue because I grew up in Venezuela. So that's just something that you can do. You know, teach your partner to dance. You know, different dances. You can take dance classes together. Again, you know, when we're in a normal state of the world, you know, when we can do things like that again, taking dance classes is really nice. And actually I know lots of couples that have met like in dance classes, taking dance classes together. So that's a good way of meeting partners as well. So good communication is key, like in any relationship, and especially multicultural relationships. So be open-minded and willing to learn, talk about what you will and will not compromise on. You know, this is a really big one, especially for multicultural, you know, relationships. Discuss how future children will be raised, religion, schooling, language, visits to relatives, and above all, focus on what makes you both happy. You know, this is a really important key because even with all the differences, you know, you can be from different countries, different cultures, different religions, you know, you can have so many differences, but there's a reason why you're together, right? There's a reason why you're together. So focus on that. Focus on that, and you know, the things that you have in common, and what makes you both happy. And forget about the judgments of the rest of the world, because you can't, you know, you can't control that. So what truly matters, so attraction, love, understanding, and shared values are ultimately the only things a couple needs to survive, whether it's a multicultural couple or like a couple from the same country. Like this is what truly matters. You know, everything else can be worked on. You know, everything else can be worked on with good communication, compromise, and balance. You know, I think that, you know, those are really, really important things. You know, you need good communication, you need compromise, and you need balance. If you have these three, you can make, you know, a multicultural relationship work, or any relationship work, um, for that matter. And then I always like to include this at the end. You know, I love vision boards. So you can, you can create a vision board and create your future. You know, create a vision board with images of the life that you'd like to create. You know, you can go through magazines and cut out images that you like. You know, think about the different areas of your life: relationships, self-development, career, travel, hobbies, health, finances, social life, family, fun, and creativity. And even like, you know, if you're really drawn to a specific country or like a specific culture, you know, include it in your vision board. Like, you know, if you want to go to Italy and you like Italians, you know, like cut out all these images of Italy and put it on your vision board and, you know, visualize yourself, you know, having a cappuccino in Italy or whatever it is, you know, that you want. And it's amazing how powerful these vision boards are. You know, like I've worked with vision boards, you know, for many years, you know, with all my clients, and it's amazing what they manifest, you know, putting on these vision boards. And the thing is that, you know, if you have an intention of something, you know, you don't need to know how that thing is going to happen, right? Because all you need to have the intention. You need to know what you want. You also need to believe that it's possible, you know, for you to achieve whatever it is that you want. You also need to believe that you're worthy of receiving whatever it is that you want. But you don't need to know how it's going to happen, you know, because when all of these elements are aligned, you know, the universe will bring people, events, and circumstances into your life, which will help you achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. So it's a great exercise to do, especially at the beginning of the year. You know, it's still January, so this is a great time to make a vision board. You know, and you can put anything you want on this vision board. You know, you can put images and phrases and yeah, anything that you want to manifest into your life. So stay open to magic. You know, it's what I always say at the end. Stay open to magic and life surprising you, because you know, life is full of surprises. You just never know, you know, what can happen, even now in this crazy lockdown time. And remember, it's not going to last forever. You know, we're not going to be in lockdown forever. So there is light at the end of this lockdown tunnel. So I offer coaching sessions in English, Spanish, Finnish, and Italian. So if you'd like a session, you can get in touch with me. My email is lauracoaching@gmail.com, and my website is laurarenenkowski.com. So thank you so much. And hold on, I'll stop the recording.